I keep going to Dubai regularly and I keep on seeing these Bugatti homes. I keep on seeing Mercedes. Why do you think we don't see that in India?
First of all, it is predominantly.
I saw one of your buildings designed in Matunga East. And I was like, this is so brilliant. In the middle of Matunga East. In the middle of Matunga East, you have this beautiful structure. What made you do that? What inspired that?
I've sworn if I do architecture, it has to be iconic. Otherwise, I don't want to do it. I don't want to be yet another architect in the country. How am I disrupting something? How am I creating something? I'm a disruptor. For me, every single aspect of design, how can it be different? How can we challenge, push the envelope, challenge the limits? So the whole idea is every single piece of design, how can we try and create something that's distinctly my way of thinking, my belief system.
Today's guest is not your typical real estate developer. He's part designer, part dreamer, part disruptor, and 100% self-made. Jimmy Mistry started his journey with rupees 20,000 and no formal design degree. Today he runs Della Group, a luxury hospitality and design empire with adventure parks, resorts, military-themed academies, and townships that look like they belong in the year 2050. He's on a mission to build India's first globally recognized luxury lifestyle brand, and in this conversation, you'll hear how he's doing it with grit, gratitude, and a grand vision for the future. Whether you care about real estate or not is besides the point. This episode is about building something bigger than yourself and believing in India when the world still looks elsewhere. Mr. Mistry, welcome to the show.
Pleasure to be here.
Is it okay if I call you Jimmy?
Yeah,
All right.
absolutely.
So the first question that I had when I knew that you were going to come as a guest on the show, everybody walks into an apartment, into a house, into a space, and everyone has their own way of luxury, what they want in their house, and some homes that when you walk in, you just feel, wow. For you, of all the iconic projects that you have done, been a part of, which one building or interior space in Mumbai best captures your design DNA? And what about it makes it uniquely you?
So for me, design is about creating an element of awe, surprise, no matter what I do. Even if you were to give me a jhopadi in Dharavi to design, I would want that jhopadi to capture everybody's attention, everybody's emotions, and there should be a purpose and a meaning driven. So I approach every single piece of design that I do, every single home, every single office with that purpose in mind. How am I disrupting something? How am I creating something? I'm a disruptor. For me, how can I bring the bathroom into the bedroom? And how can the wall evaporate? How can I bring every single aspect of design? How can it be different? How can we challenge, push the envelope, challenge the limits? So we've done some amazing stuff across through years. I remember a particular conference room, meeting room, because I had the heights, I elevated them and put in sand below. So, and then glass floor. So you're in an office and you're forgetting where you are. You're on a beach, you are on a vacation, and that was a meeting room. That's just one example. But we believe in pushing the limit across, through and through. Be it hospitality design, we love to change the formats of the rooms, make the room smaller, make the bathroom larger, bring in the wardrobes into the bathroom, the vestibule there. So the whole idea is every single piece of design, how can we try and create something that's distinctly my way of thinking, my belief system? How can we disrupt any format given, and how can we challenge the very brief given to us? Most times we've never been considerate to the brief because we believe the customer yet not know what they need to know. It's our job as a designer, as a professional of practitioner of the trade, to educate our customer.
Okay.
It's like you go to a chartered accountant or you go to a finance guy and you don't know things, obviously, because you are the client, you're on the other side. He has to guide you and educate you on things that you didn't know existed. If there's a financial product, there's a debt product, there's an investment product, blah, blah. He has to educate you, right? This very often is not understood by people in the world of design. Let's say you go to a fashion designer, a bespoke custom designer. They're going to educate you what's in trend. They're going to do what they think is best for you. This doesn't happen. You go to a doctor, a consultant tells you what medication to take. But when it comes to surprisingly architecture and interiors, customers come with a point of view and go and tell a doctor, मेरे को दो red दवाई, दो green दवाई, दो yellow दवाई. It doesn't work that way.
Correct.
Right. Somehow it's accepted norm in the world of design. And the practitioners of this trade do not really take it up on themselves to educate the consumer, to educate the customer of what they yet not know. And hence, their briefs can never be taken at face value. Of course, they have a brief. They are the client. They have a right to tell you what they want. It's your job as a consultant to turn the brief upside down with what you think they do not know, educate them and tell them this is what you require. So I can give you examples and examples of corporate headquarters that we have designed where we've given new things, an experience center.
Give me one example that pops out of your head where a client came to you and said, we want a certain set of design which completely, like you mentioned about the sand and the glass. That like in a conference room, you feel like you're on a beach having a conference. Yeah. So that just completely changes the mind. And what would that one thing that pops out of your head where someone came with the design and what they walked out was something different and yet they were absolutely thrilled and happy about it?
So I was designing Vijay Mallya's headquarters in Bangalore, UB.
Okay.
And it consisted of all the businesses, liquor, leather, fertilizer, Kingfisher, F1 racing, all the liquor brands together. Traditionally, I was given a brief by VJM that you put in, I want my liquor to be displayed on one side and it has to be a corporate headquarter. And I was not bothered about the brief he was giving me. I was just trying to see in my mind how best can I bring everything together. Mm-hmm. And yet nothing should look like you're displaying liquor. That's a vanilla thing to do, right? You're going to a client who's in the liquor business, you're displaying liquor. So we created the lobby and we had a 33 feet high ceiling and we created a grand lobby. So we picked up the liquor bottles and created chandeliers out of them.
Okay.
Right. So if you look up, the brands were there, but in a very subtle way. And you would not notice them till the time you really take out time and start absorbing things. I made him import a A380 aircraft 1:10 scale version, suspended it on the ceiling in a certain way and an angle, and I tried out 10 times what I wanted. So imagine 1:10 A380 and then playing around with and trying to see from models to the actual one. Then I got him to get a dummy F1 car, and we put the car in the reception. And behind the car, we had a huge wall, a LED wall across that displayed in the most classy manner how fertilizers and leather and all can be put up. We made fertilizers look as if you were in a Dior showroom. Right. So the whole idea is to try and bring all the different brands together and yet create something that's very disruptive, very corporate. Mm-hmm. So that was one aspect, and we've done this. We've done this with multiple people. We've done it with Ad Factors, India's largest PR agency, their headquarters in Mumbai, and we gave them a media room. And this was not the client's brief because they never. For me, you are the PR agency. Why do you go to a hotel and go to a banquet hall and do your media briefing for your client? Should happen in your headquarters. So if Jimmy's doing a briefing, it should be in your headquarters. So we created a media room that never existed in the brief. And in a city like Mumbai, where every square feet matters, when you say subtract of this area and we create a media room. I'll give you another example. Last year, we were designing India Infoline headquarters for Nirmal and Venkat, Nirmal Jain. And we created an experience center. I said, look, you're a
this is India
Infoline
finance company,
and we created their headquarters in Mumbai. That was just last year. And I've been designing for Nirmal all my life, from his first office onwards. All of India Infoline has been done by us. He said, you need an experience center, and there was a huge debate. Why do we need one?
Yeah, I mean,
and 1,500 square feet. Clients don't come to us. We don't need to tell our. I said, look, it's more for your internal stakeholders. It's more for you. You give an interview. You need to be in your experience center, and whoever comes, that's the soul of your brand. You need to create. Nirmal kept arguing. Finally, I had my way, and thanks to him to give me that elbow room. All my clients have always listened to me. Thank God for it. And we created an experience center The very first day we had Sunil Singhania, Nirmal Jain, and we created an amphitheater, sit out. The whole office was there on those steps. And the very first day onwards, he's in love with that place. Because he now sees, I showed him what he didn't know was required for his brand.
Explain this experience. What would a finance company have as an experience center?
Hi, big. Their entire reputation, their entire brand, how it evolved, the story needs to be narrated. And what is an experience center? It's a center where you narrate your story in the experiences you want your customers, internal stakeholders, external stakeholders to have. So you educate consumers and you give them what they yet not know. Right? They've been to experience centers, they never thought they will require one for their brand. I can go on and on. When I was doing Bajaj Auto headquarters, I was doing it for Rajiv. I wanted to bring motorcycles into the main lobby and not like a typical automobile showroom where ये हमारे model है, आप देख लो. I wanted to give Bajaj a new dimension to the brand Bajaj. So I got very slick SS, tungsten steel racks created, put in a sheet of glass, and I stacked up the motorbikes across. And it was magical. Yeah, one over the other, and that was the lobby.
Okay.
The whole idea and the silent communication was, it's no longer the old Bajaj Auto. This is the new generation Bajaj. It's tech, it's savvy, it's futuristic. Sheet of glass, a motorcycle, so you kind of or element of surprise, which I told you at the beginning of this interview. So it's always कब गिरेगा, कब कांच टूटेगा, कब बाइक नीचे गिरेगी, इतना पतला स्टील दो मोटरसाइकिल का वजन ले रही है, is it sturdy, right? So all these things, communication is, it's a very, you don't talk about it, you don't need a board on it. So I can keep giving examples.
It's a very subtle way of displaying.
The World Expo in Shanghai, the best design for the expo was given to Thomas Heatherwick, Heatherwick Studios. I was there, the UK pavilion that he designed, the Seat Cathedral. It was 160 countries participating, and you enter the Seat Cathedral. It was a UK pavilion. There wasn't a single flag of UK, a hoarding of UK, a board of UK pavilion. Right? Somebody else would have put 20 boards. This is XYZ and the flag. It's a silent communication. You go there, and the design is going to stick in your mind for life. I can close my eyes and I can still imagine that design. It won the best design out of 160 countries. But that's Thomas Heatherwick. I mean, his ways of thinking are disruptive. That's a legend. That's God of design. So people like us can continually absorb things from there, learn it, and then go ahead and implement it via our designs. Right. So it's not a single project, but every project you try and create, you create an element of surprise. So when people go into washrooms of Della, they come back smiling. And then immediate reaction is to take the rest of the people sitting at the restaurant table with you, come in and see it. And you see this thing happening almost on a day-to-day basis. A woman enters the loo and she immediately with double speed steps out because she is obviously thinking she's entered the wrong loo. Then she looks at the signage, now she's confused. The woman, she entered the wrong place because as soon as the door opens, there's a mannequin standing of a man in a suit squatting on a urinal. And the first thing that you see from the door when it opens is that. So she obviously thinks she's entered the wrong loo, but she saw the signage, now she's confused. So the whole idea is to have fun in a subtle way, make people smile.
That is funny.
And she comes out and she pulls her friends. So Madhuri Dixit came out and pulled her mother-in-law and took her inside and both took pictures. Right. So that's to me, that's design. That brings out emotions in people, makes people think, makes people reflect. And the most important of them all, makes people smile, gives them that joy, happiness. So if your design can bring joy, I don't think there is no greater design in the world than the design that brings joy. Because it's not the gold-plated fixtures that bring joy, it's not the Italian marbles that bring joy, but it's small things like this that capture the emotion and bring a smile on the person's face. You go to a urinal and father and son are standing and squatting there, and they both are looking at each other and smiling.
That's funny.
It's I think to me that's priceless.
Yeah, I agree. It's leaving an impact in your mind, and you like you mentioned, you bring forward and you say, come take a look at this. This is something that you've never experienced or seen before. So I agree with you completely on that. You were talking about the international UK, what was the name of the?
Thomas Heatherwick Studios.
Heatherwick Studios. Now, in our country, we have powered global tech. We have crafts, couture. We have built cities. why do you think India hasn't produced a globally recognized luxury brand? We have Louis Vuitton, we have Four Seasons, we also have these branded homes. I keep going to Dubai regularly and I keep on seeing these Bugatti homes. I keep on seeing Mercedes. Then there are other Jacob and Company homes.
Bulgari, Lamborghini,
Correct.
and
And why do you think we don't see that in India, number one? And how could Della be one to finally break that ceiling?
hey, that's a deep question. So, 77 years of India's freedom, independence. We haven't had one single consumer facing uber luxury brand in luxury interiors or architecture out of India. It needs a lot more soul searching. Uh, I think, first of all, it is predominantly based on our belief that Jugaad does everything. Jugaad is a silent cancer, it's a killer of long term systematic ideation that should have happened with rapid prototyping and then taking it to the next level and making it sustainable, making it empathetic. So Indians have always believed in Jugaad and there's a great pride. Oh, hum sab Jugaad kar lete. But that Jugaad is killed design. Jugaad is a temporary solution. Design thinking, process oriented is a permanent solution. Rapid prototyping can be compared to Jugaad at some point, but rapid prototyping has to evolve into a more sustainable permanent design. You cannot leave design at a Jugaad level, right? So within India, we've developed a mentality that we are good in handicrafts. We are very proud of our culture and where we come from, and hence handicrafts. But I think we've evolved. We are good in handicrafts. Nobody is denying it. Does that mean is there any bandage that you can't design at a cutting edge level? You can't design to shock the world. If Italians can design, why can't Indians? If Chinese can now learn design, why can't Indians? But do we want to fall into the trap of China of replicating people's designs and not having something of your own to suggest? Let's understand the difference between emulating a good design and innovating a good design. All designs, all good design, the root of all good design is inspiration. That's the root of all good design. So when Thomas designed the Seat Cathedral, Pokemon comics was his inspiration.
All right.
Right. Anything has to be inspiring. So very often I tell my people when we start designing, 90% research, 10% work. Because unless and until you have not really researched that element, it might be a diamond laboratory you're designing. It might be a yacht you're designing, which is the first yacht. You've never designed a yacht. I'd never designed, till that time I've designed Mallya's yacht. I'd never designed a yacht. You can self-learn, you can research, you can understand, take inspirations, and don't be blindfolded into copying it. Once you start understanding is only when you research. Without looking at other people, you've got no freaking clue of what's happening around, what's trending, what's not, who started, what patterns of design, what styles, why, so on and so forth. After that, you start working on it. And if you understand global trends, it's very, very critical to understand, and not just one particular market, the European markets, but also the Asian, South Asian, the Singapore market, the German markets, because Cologne is very different from Milan. Milan is very different from High Point, North Carolina. So understanding different global markets and where they originate, then you start developing some kind of a skill set to decipher design. I think Indian designers need to go through that grind. Fortunately for me, I was exposed to design and from a very different perspective because I don't come from a qualification of design. I've never been to a design school ever in a day in my life. My learning happened because I started importing furniture from Italy, and I got exposed to Olivetti synthesis. The designers for Olivetti were Eldilio Monelli, Charles Pollock, Ettore Sozzas, the grandfathers of modular furniture, right? And the visionaries of futuristic designs. Charles Pollock's chairs, uniform, one body, one mold. I mean, so for me, I was just buying material, but I was in a subtle way getting exposed to them. And then we got a good amount of exposure to the American designs because we tried to set up in Manhattan way back in '97. And High Point, North Carolina was the convergence of global design industry. When you start visiting High Point, you start realizing the different styles of designs from traditional Indian design and American Indian design to to the European designs that kind of bombard America with their offerings, and the Asian designs and the Chinese designs and so on and so forth. So your exposure allows you to then come back and say, what can I do to disrupt this? So it's taken me 29 years to be able to even say that, yes, we are going to attempt to create the first meta luxury Indian brand to win global acclaim in luxury interiors and architecture. I know to an extent that I'm taking my baby steps, but I'm waiting for the day when I can make waves in Milan and make waves in New York and Design District in Dubai. I'm waiting for that day to happen. And less for me, my purpose is my country before me, because I know Indians have a herd mentality. Sala ek aayega to piche 50 aayenge. And that's what is exciting for me. I'm waiting for that 50 to come so that my country goes out there in cutting edge design and starts competing with the best in the world. So for me, it's very, very critical to put India on a global design map. And I think we have all the ingredients in us right now. We just need to have a belief in ourselves and go out there and demonstrate what you're made out of. Because on a global platform, when you demonstrate what you're capable of designing, that's when you feel you've arrived. You're not a frog in a well, but you're there with the best in the world and saying, look, this is my creation.
I love the way you put these examples. Frog in a well. It's like India is the well and we are the frogs. It's a very apt way of putting it. I saw one of your buildings designed in Matunga East. It was an Antoni Gaudí inspired design from the facade. I was so happy to see. I had no idea who Antoni Gaudí was. All right, my team briefed me about it. So when they briefed me about it, I went and researched it. I saw the cathedral, the whole design.
Sagrada Familia.
Yeah, there you go.
Sagrada Familia.
Sagrada Familia, yeah. That whole thing, I researched it, I read about it. Took some, 500, 600 years to build. It started in the 13th century.
It's still going on.
Yeah. And I was like, this is so brilliant. In the middle of Matunga East, you have this beautiful structure, completely different, standing out with glass facade in a very different manner. You go inside the apartment, that's the traditional Indian, the 3-bedroom with the 3 washrooms. But even then, the design was nice and spacious. What made you do that? What inspired that?
Like I said, for me, design has to be inspired. For me, design has to be creating an awe, and it has to be different. It has to be purpose oriented. I don't know of any other architect who's actually recreated Gaudí's work to give a salute to Antoni Gaudí, because he was a genius, a master craftsman. He was divine. He was devilish and divine together, because when you look at the ceiling of Sagrada Familia, I think for about half an hour, 45 minutes, I'm spellbound. I've been there thrice, and each time I go there, I just don't want anybody to come near me. I want people to leave me alone, because I just want to look, and you're in amazement because you've never seen anything from your childhood like that. Is it modern? Is it contemporary? Is it Gothic? Is it you can't put a finger on it. And the more you see, the more you're in love with it. It's divinity. So like Paganini used to play the violin, he was a devil. You couldn't do the pizzicato. Any violinist cannot replicate what he did, because he was possessed, he was obsessed, he was possessed, is what people say. So you need to be possessed to be able to do extraordinary design. And I think that's the small version of me trying to give a salute to Gaudí by creating an architecture. It's very few buildings I've done the architecture for, and this is one of the buildings. I've sworn if I do architecture, it has to be iconic. Otherwise, I don't want to do it. I don't want to be yet another architect in the country. If I do a design, it has to be iconic. It has to be recognizable. It has to live the test of time. 30 years down the line also, people should turn around and say, wow. So like Della Tower is Persian architecture. That's owed to the Parsis and the Zoroastrian, Iranian, Persian architecture. This is a salute to Antoni Gaudí. In whatever constraints I could, approval norms are the same. We say we are in a matchbox. BMC doesn't allow you to design. We are the only country, one of the only countries in the world where even today, approval norms for design are zero. In our entire DC, there is no approval norm for design. There is only approval norm for FSI, floor space index, TDR, blah, blah, blah. How much you can consume, how much you can build. What you build, the government cares. How you deface your city, nobody cares because there's no approval norm. There is no body approving the facade design, the elevation.
But is it present in other countries?
Of course, yes. New York has it. London has it. London FARs are based upon your elevations. New York, Manhattan, you can get 35 FAR depending on the elevations. The government is not insensitive to design. We are insensitive to design. And in the garb of just FAI, FSI, FARs, we're just working on commercial aspect of it. There is no approval norm for design. And I think that's something that needs to be instilled by our government desperately. In the new DC rules, I would love to someday sit with the CM and tell him that, look, this is the change you need to bring. You give more FSI, we don't care. You give what you want. As far as the city is not defaced, we have some element of sensibility of design and some vision to creating the Mumbai skyline. I think a lot of importance should be given. People should not be allowed to create just what the heck they want. Right? You should be sensitive to elevation design.
That brings me to my next question. You're talking about design. Now, Mumbai, extremely limited space. We spoke about your building in Matunga East. Now, when we look outside a window in Mumbai, you see this beautiful structure. You see another glass facade building. And then you see a nice blue tarpaulin top. All right? They're all together. As a designer and an urban thinker, how do you emotionally process that chaos? And do you believe that we should try to resolve it? Or should we learn from it? Or should we embrace it?
Embracing it is the simplest and easiest because there is no defiance. There's no resistance. Hota hai, chalta hai, idhar to aise hi hota hai. That's one way of looking at it. And that's something that we all love.
It's a language I use, I hear every time. Every time. Idhar to aisa hi hai.
I think my expression of design is idhar to aisa hi hai, फिर भी हम unique iconic architecture create कर सकते हैं. It requires defiance. It requires fighting. You think the client in Matunga just wanted to do it? He didn't. I wanted to do it. Right? You think he had the budgets to do it? No, he didn't. He cut down everything from my designs that meant expending more money because for him it's like he's not sold on the concept. I am sold on the concept. You need to struggle to be able to create in spite of all the challenges, in spite of the BMC approval norms, you still create something that's iconic. And when you do get a lot of support from people because people respect you for what you're creating. You're not creating to do the chori. You're not creating to encroach something and sell more. You're creating because you believe in that design. So even the junior most engineer who comes on site will often let go of, and because he now relates to you as that man who's trying to bring about this change. And I've seen this again and again in every single project that we do. If there is honesty and straightforward approach, your reputation precedes you. So many times, even when you're wrong in some way, people overlook, not because of their commercial interest, people overlook because of their, somewhere in their heart of heart, they also believe in this vision that you're trying to create. And that's where they support you, right? And they say, wow, you are the creator. You created this. Where you could have created another ordinary building, you created something like this. So whether you do a resort design in the forest, where every law is against you, or you create something across on a second home, or you create something across in landscape or on the roads or transplantation of trees or whatever you do. So we are trying to constantly see how we can shatter the ceiling and come up with something that's radically different. And what is my value add? If tree transplantation has to happen, if there's a plot I'm working on and the trees need to be removed because of construction and taken and transplanted, my sensitive nature doesn't allow me to accept at the way things are happening. How can I do my research and add 2 more bits where the chances of the survival of this fully grown tree would increase many times over? Mm-hmm. Right, rather than just leave it to the contractor and where he dumps it. I've actually physically gone and visited my trees all over again where they've been transplanted.
Really?
So I'm one of those guys who's very sensitive to things. You don't need to advertise it. You don't need to market it. But if you believe in it, you really mean it, you can do it. Mm-hmm. So things like this are a part and parcel. I think every designer should be sensitized to having a deep-rooted feeling for his environment, rather than trying to run for LEED certifications, he should first sensitize himself as to how emotionally he's connected to the elements, the earth, the plants, the animals, and the people. So, social sustainability and environmental sustainability, these two things, you need to first acclimatize yourself to it. Once you do, automatically you will do LEED certified buildings. You don't need certification.
But humans, we need nature around us.
Absolutely.
We always want nature around us. We always want that greenery always around us, because that's what we are at the end of the day. I recently visited a township in Pune. It was like a typical township which comes to, you have your blocks and you have your specific spaces and zones. You have your fire brigade in one section, you have your hospital, schools, everything is all in one section. That's like a typical township system. What new can be done in the real estate sector when it comes to building townships, considering that there has been just a recent partnership between you and the Hiranandani Group as well as the Crisala Group in Pune?
So our approach to second homes is very different. We did the first one 15 years back when we created Della Villas. And our approach to second homes real estate predominantly is to bring in theme-based townships into the country. I'll explain to you what these themes are, and to bring resort living. Because a second home gets extremely painful investment if it's anything but resort living. The minute resort living is there, the resort is operating independently. You're a wedding venue, destination, corporate mice. Your township is already humming and with activities happening there when all these weddings happen and corporates are doing mice. It's got life in it. Restaurants are running. It's a place with buzz. There is entertainment happening at night. There's adventure activities. Now you have a second home. You'd love to go there. So we've created theme-based townships, and we've got about 10 different themes that we are working with. Pune is a classic example. We've managed to bring in the racecourse there, and we are bringing in a polo club, and we are bringing in equestrian sports and activities. There's dressage happening every evening. So these are the things that we are setting up as a center core.
Okay.
After that peripheral, we've got our plotted villa developments. And on the other side, we've got our branded residences. That's again a disruption we are doing. Second homes, nobody does vertical. And within vertical, nobody puts in the resort or the hotel amenities or hospitality amenities inside the vertical towers. So we are trying to give people a flavor of branded residence living, whether it's in the city or outskirts of the city. Today, undoubtedly, the most successful project in India, even more than DLF Camellias, is Vicky Oberoi's Oberoi 360. Right, 360 is the pinnacle of branded residence living, the most successful building in city of Mumbai. We're trying to bring branded residence living to outskirts of cities by bringing in the resort, the concept, the theme, the adventure, the entertainment, gastronomy, and housing all of this into the vertical residential tower, and then having the rest of the amenities put up within this tower, including wellness. That's different. A reason we selected theme of racecourse for Pune, because between Mumbai and Pune, all of us have been hardwired from our childhood about turf club. We always associate turf club with premium, with luxury, right? The races are always attached with lifestyle. So for me to create on the outskirts of Pune, outskirts of Hinjewadi, Darumbre, to create an attraction overnight, a beautiful racecourse with British colonial architecture, and that would be different. Staggeringly different is everything that's horizontal is British colonial. The vertical building is very, very different. If you look at the architecture style that we have given to the building, it's iconic. And for Mumbai and Pune to have an apartment which is 3.5 crores, to have within a 5-star hotel, to have an apartment at 3.5 crores, it's peanuts. It's nothing. Right. So I didn't care for what is the per square feet rate going on in that area. What will I get as a premium? You create the whole ecosystem, and that's what I call as theme-based townships. So this is one theme of racecourse. Having an expertise and experience of already running Della Adventure, we have 20 horses. We do horse riding across for the last 15 years. We have now brought our local boys who participated in national level competitions in dressage and show riding. So I've never witnessed a live show riding in my life. Let me make a kind of
Statement, revelation.
statement, revelation that me, my family, my kids have never seen it. I don't know if you ever seen it. Now, all these Marvel boys with the horses are going to conduct 2 shows every evening. Right? Imagine how beautiful it is to motivate and inspire. First of all, they are all locals. The horses are all from Maharashtra. These are not race horses. And now, when you're doing these kind of activities, a lot of people will want to come and see it. And if you're living in that area, you would aspire to then ride a horse, and your kid is riding a pony, and just for the fun. You're not going to get into serious competition and running, right? So the whole idea of theme-based townships is to give a actual realistic lifestyle to its occupants.
Now, thinking we understand the design part. I understand it. I love it. From an investor's point of view, say if one of my investors says that he wants to invest in your project, what kind of a return would he be looking at? Now, very simple, clean financial. Let's not talk about the design. What kind of a return would an individual look at when they're buying a property, a villa or apartment in that project?
Be it in a Nagpur, be it in a Jaipur, be it in all the townships that we are doing, anything from a 5 to 9% return on real estate. Because once you buy the real estate from us, get the fit out to D.A.T.A hospitality standards done from us, whatever that investment is, from the day you hand it over to us to operations, we operate it like a resort.
So it is managed by you.
It is managed by us. It is operated like a resort. We take it on a lease. It's a permanent lease, 9-year lease.
Okay.
Right. And because we are operating a hospitality, a 5-star hospitality where the entire infra is already built in the township, from restaurants to check-in lobbies to spas, banquets, wedding venues and others, we are able to offer you a 5 to 9% return.
This is on residential?
This is on Resi, which is fitted out to D.A.T.A hospitality standards.
Okay.
So once it's done, that's the kind of return. And that's a disruption in the Indian real estate industry, because Indian real estate industry doesn't have anything more than 3%, upper limit 3.5% as a standard return on capital deployed in real estate. We are offering 5 to 9%.
Okay.
There's a huge difference. And the reason we are offering is because we are using it for hospitality.
Yeah, that does garner you a little bit more. Even in Mumbai, if you go to see, but they don't cross more than 4.5%. I've seen entire buildings that have been taken up by these hostels or by the student living. Even with Airbnb, I don't see them crossing more than 4 to 5% at the
Because
top
they're not
end.
in the luxury segment. When we're in 5-star hospitality, you can afford to do it.
Yeah, that's also different. All right. Now, talking about disruption, artificial intelligence. There's a lot of noise about smart homes and how AI-driven homes are there. I go to so many of these places where you have these automated spaces with your iPhone, with your Android phone. You can kind of manage your entire house. D.A.T.A is launching AI-themed townships, as we discussed. Right? D.A.T.A is launching townships. Are these AI-enabled? How are you using AI if you are using it? Not just to build smarter homes, but giving that AI with a luxury experience.
So this is what we are doing. We believe in doing things differently. Of course, it's needless to say that all D.A.T.A townships are going to be smart townships. They're going to be sustainable townships. These are all a given. No debating in any of this. What is the value we bring when we are saying we are being a theme-based township? Fortunately, about 5 years back, I founded an organization known as D.A.T.A Leaders Club, which is running very successfully between New York, London, Dubai, Singapore, various cities in India, where we've got 26 communities within the club. So people with domain expertise of technology belong to the technology community, strategy leadership belong to strategy leadership, fashion belong to fashion. So we've got 26 communities. Within our technology community, we have close to about 100 and odd people who are there between New York, London, who's who in the world of tech, and India. Amazing entrepreneurs, unicorn founders, all of them are belonging to this community of D.A.T.A Leaders Club. We plan to create a AI tech foundation for humanity.
All right.
My idea is via the theme, if I'm able to put India in a global thought leadership positioning, whilst I continue to do my business is hospitality, selling villa plots, selling branded residences, all of that remains the same. But this AI foundation, we are planning to do it at 2 places right now. One is near Mumbai in Panvel. There's a township, and there's a township in Jaipur that we are working on. So these are the 2 places where we want to do this concept. We put the foundation, and the foundation will have permanent mandate. First of all, the foundation will be having patrons who are really the people who are movers and shakers of the world of AI and technology.
All right,
They
you'll
are
have to
patrons in the foundation.
You'll have to go a little bit deeper into this.
So the foundation's main objective
Okay.
is to protect humanity using checks and balances for AI. So how can we move the world and channelize energies onto supporting AI but protecting humanity?
Okay.
Right. So there's a permanent organization whose mandate is to do that. It's a global thought leadership positioning.
Okay.
It's not business, it's not transacting. We are not in the business of technology. But this foundation, 12 months a year, the patrons of the foundation are only going to be doing events to further the cause of protecting, getting in mandate, getting in legislature, not just in India, but across the world.
Okay.
And any of the disruptive technologies that have been created in startup ecosystems and others or established organizations can display in this permanent exhibition center.
Okay.
So the whole mandate of this exhibition center is perpetually to work towards betterment and safeguarding humanity and supporting AI. So we are not against AI in any which way, right? But so this is the foundation. We get the most effective people to be patrons on this foundation. The idea is not to make money in the foundation. It's a byproduct of this township. And why should this foundation be able to do everything it desires? One is because we already have a community existing in Della Leaders Club who will be the first few patrons in this. Second, the entire infra of a 300-room resort, banquets, restaurants, and the theme and all of that is already being created in this township. So the foundation gets a full backup from here. Every time you do an event, it's your banquets which are in use, right? So the whole idea of doing a township which is symbolic to put India in a thought leadership positioning in the world of AI and technology and protecting humanity. The whole idea is how can we empathetically protect humanity?
So how does AI though? See, this artificial intelligence. Give me a framework as to all of the leaders. So you're talking about in what was the location in Jaipur? You said
In Jaipur and Panvel.
in Jaipur and Panvel.
Right.
What is the concept that is, if you are okay to discuss, what is the concept that you're thinking of in Panvel where AI is going to make life easy for the individual as well as for the environment?
This is thought leadership. It's nothing to do with people living within the township.
Okay.
This township is going to be smart township. I started our conversation by saying that. That's
Okay.
one part.
So
The foundation, the patrons of the foundation on this township are all tech leaders in their own rights.
Okay.
Either founders or disruptors
Okay.
or visionary and futurists.
okay.
How can this foundation be doing non-stop events 12 months a year as its mandate
Okay.
to create legislation, to create awareness, to create things that put India in a thought leadership position? It's not about India, it's not about United States, it's not about UAE. It's about collectively how can this foundation be working towards the betterment of humanity. Now
Okay.
that's a thought leadership positioning.
That's a different level.
Completely. And by virtue of all these techies being there, of course, a lot of them will want to take their guest houses and so on and so forth and become a part of this ecosystem.
Correct.
Are you getting my point?
Now I get
So
it.
it's like a market. When you're selling vegetables, there are 10 more vegetable vendors next to you.
Okay.
Right. So same way in tech or anything you do, the more of it you do, that whole ecosystem becomes conducive to the AI and tech fraternity.
Who is part of this from the Indian diaspora?
Well, we have a lot of our members who are very active with Della Leaders Club. We've already done a couple of AI events and globally and in India. These are the same people whom we'll be bringing as patrons first on our foundation, creating the base infra of this foundation. We also plan to deploy one of the global leaders in the world of design who works with technology, does a lot in Silicon Valley and has been very symbolic. Bring him to design the foundation building. So there is a lot happening. It's not just me.
Can I get one name? Can I get one name, Mr. Mistry?
So we've been working on a collaborative design platform, and some of the finest designers in the world is what we want to bring across to India to create these disruptions. I already named Thomas Heatherwick before, Heatherwick Studios London, Biake Ingle, who's now coming into India in Mumbai, big design. We've got Kareem Rashid, we've got Ross Lovegrove, and Ila Colombo, his partner. So we've got 23 of the world's top designers. who we are bringing to India. And each of these townships, you will see their talent rise and shine into doing what we are talking of disrupting, whilst we continue to do our real estate business. Nothing is stopping us from doing it. And naturally, the real estate is going to be premium, not because it's just Panvel or because it's nice and a good township, but if the world leaders in the world of technology are present there, people will die to hold a place there, right?
What is? I'm going to Google all of these names.
You
These
should.
are all new to me. I'm going to Google all of these names.
You'll love them. You'll spend so much of time on each one because if each one of the designers I mentioned have contributed to humanity.
What is their perspective? See, we as Indians are sitting down over here and we know our ecosystem. What is the mind frame of these international designers when they actually come and see a proposal in India? What are their thought patterns?
Their filter is very simple. So Thomas Heatherwick's office will not touch a project. They have a process to go through. What is the impact it's going to have on society? The first question. You convince them that this project is going to have an impact on society, on humanity, and Thomas is going to be willing to look at the project.
Okay.
The project is not going to be of any impact on society. He doesn't really want to look at the project. So that's the magnitude and magnanimity of these designers. It's so much fun to learn and work from them, how they want to utilize the rest of their lives to impact humanity. And each time I learn more, I feel so much smaller than man. Whatever number of years remaining, I've done nothing for humanity. I've done nothing for my country. So I work harder and stronger, and my resolve becomes even more stronger when I meet with a D.A.T.A or his office to understand the impact he's doing to whole of humanity and human living, how humanity or human beings can live within such square meters and yet be sustainable. His sheer way of thinking allows me to go back and say, okay, what am I doing within my life? How am I going to impact society? So you feel so small, right?
From what I gather is it's not about the money, it's not about the square footage, it's got nothing to do with any of those things.
It's a byproduct. All of those things are byproducts.
It's just, what can I do for making a space better? How can I impact the local lives? How can I impact the economy? It's at a much bigger level as compared to what a normal individual is even thinking of. This is a separate flight.
But it's a different zone.
It's a different zone.
It's a different zone.
Different orbit. We are in a different stratosphere.
Chalk and cheese.
Yeah.
कोई comparison नहीं है. But the people who are here, there's nothing that's stopping you from you to be there to whatever number of years you've got remaining to live. How can you impact society? How can you impact your city? How can you impact your country? It's just a way of thinking, and that becomes your principal driver in life.
No, but see, when people like yourself and at that genre, that orbit level are looking at a certain aspect, how it trickles down to the common man. I'm thinking from the common man's aspect. And I'm telling you where I'm coming from. Most of the people, I'm a real estate agent, most of the people are coming and telling me, sir, how, what this, what that, and this and that. Then you have a separate set of luxury individuals who are coming and looking at properties. They're not looking at the money, they're looking at the value. Now, what you are bringing to our country is something which is not everybody is bringing, number one. Number two, it is improving the standard of life for people across genre, not just the upper middle class or the luxury or the HNIs. It's like, I'm assuming that, you are at separate zones, separate levels, and everyone gets to live that standard, see that international standard designed by international people, and yet it is happening in our backyard. That is what I think is going to elevate the life of the people, and I think that's what the whole goal of...
I hope that's my contribution. Like I've said so many times earlier, the way I measure success of human beings is the number of human lives they've touched. It's not the size of their balance sheet. It's not the size of their personal net worth statements, but the number of human lives you've touched. I think that's the direct relationship to success. So whenever I meet a human being, for me, I'm as excited to meet him or not excited to meet him based on this simple criteria. I get attracted to people who have impacted human lives. I get repulsed from people who have only collected personal wealth and contributed nothing to humanity. So I have I'm a Gemini and I have two faces. One is attraction, one is repulsion. So I'm very simple, very clear about it. I don't mince my words. So people who've done something for our country or people who think positively to do something for our country, for me, country comes hugely there in my life. Somewhere, so if you look at D.A.T.A, it's all about our country. It's a commercial enterprise, it's a resort, but every human being who enters there goes out of my doors more patriotic than when they entered. The way they say Jai Hind when they leave, by employing people from armed forces, all special operatives who are retired now, but saluting them, celebrating them every day, and bringing more respect and pride to our armed forces. That's what D.A.T.A is all about.
Okay.
It was a fragment of my imagination. There's nothing like.
Let me know more. I don't know a lot about the D.A.T.A, the Della.
D.A.T.A is Della Adventure Training Academy. It's in the jungles. It's about an hour from Della resorts. Our 4x4 takes you there. So first time in your life you get into an army vehicle. So we've got actual 4x4s, trucks, the Shaktiman, for you to experience what our Jawans go through all their lives.
Okay.
Right. It all looks very, very fancy.
For the common citizen.
For the common citizen. And my common citizens are all corporates and families and good families who come there, chairmans, MDs, directors, so on and so forth, small entrepreneurs with their families. When they go into that truck, everything that they've seen in a movie of wow, a Jawan travels in a truck and there's a convoy moving, you go in a convoy on those off-roads and you realize what a Jawan goes through. Right. And by the time you get down, and then there is a celebrity salute by horses and you have to experience it to believe it. And then every guest is given a military camouflage uniform, man, woman, child, old, young. So everybody within the resort only moves around in those camouflage uniforms. And ex-special operatives are the people who are actually training on survival techniques, whether it's 1 night, 2 nights, 7 nights, whatever you spend there. So by the time you listen to their stories, there's a man who's got 3 bullets in his body who's teaching you. There's a man who's got 1 leg but runs marathons. Right. He's my colonel. He's the head of operations. And then there's Lieutenant General of Indian Army who's retired, General Nibin Narona, head of Southern Command X. Now he's the one who actually is the big boss around over there. So when you talk to them and they share their experiences firsthand of what happened when his life was attacked in the valley, of how did he lose his leg on a mine, or how did he get 3 bullets in his body and he managed to survive, and he's still giving naras for Jai Hind, right? So you listen to these first-hand stories. It's a moving experience. It's a life-changing experience, and that's what I wanted people to go through.
While you were saying that, I was only thinking how I can take my child over there so that he can experience this.
Why just your child? Why not you, your spouse?
No, it's a full family.
It's a full family. It's a full family. No matter what age, it's a full family. It's not physical endurance that we can teach you in 1 or 2 days, but the whole environment what an army goes through from the Sarva Dharam Sthal onwards, and the values that you inculcate, to the way we ignite patriotism in your belly. And I love it because God has given me my passion meets my business. I'm running a business, and whilst running a business, I'm igniting passion for our country. So I love every moment of D.A.T.A. The D.A.T.A is something that I'm very, very, very proud of. And it gives me immense amount of pride and gratitude that God has given me an opportunity to serve my country via this medium.
Before I let you go, Mr. Mistry, what's the one thing you hope your great-grandchildren or the people of India will remember you for?
It's not one thing, it's a couple of things.
Sure.
One is, I think they should all measure me by how many human lives I've touched during my lifetime. So that's my very clear, verbal, vocal, written definition of success. And that number will prove whether I was successful, I was not. So that's one. And I work every day and night towards that goal. 2, how I disrupted design within my country. My job has always been to put India on a global map of design in cutting edge, high-end luxury design. That's where the money is for my country. That's where the future is for my country, for betterment of our people, and for a whole different genre of income and wealth coming into India. Technology has been a fantastic game changer for the future of our country. The amount of wealth India has accumulated because of technology has been a game changer. My humble contribution would be if a small trickle starts coming into India via the medium of design, and my country starts earning foreign exchange because of the medium of design, and the lives of my people improve because of the medium of design. I think that would be these 2 measures of success for me. And both are equally important and significant for me.
All right. Thank you very much for giving us your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Jai Hind.
Thank you. Jai Hind.